We have some breaking news as the Toronto Raptors just signed an elite three-point shooting center as a fan favorite for the San Antonio Spurs and across the NBA. Sandro Mamukelashvili is now the backup center for the Toronto Raptors. That was desperately needed, and frankly, he fits in really well with what the Toronto Raptors are doing, and I'm very excited about this signing, especially at the contract that he just signed for. So we're going to break down who Mamu is as a basketball player, what impact he can have on the Toronto Raptors, and why this is the ideal backup center signing that we've all been hoping for with the rumors of DeAndre Ayton, Ben Simmons getting thrown out there. This guy is actually, especially at his price point, exactly what the Toronto Raptors need. So lots of stuff to break down in this video, folks. You guys have been crushing it, hitting that subscribe button as of late at 38,500 subscribers, 1,500 away from that goal of 40,000 subscribers. So appreciate every single one of you that's been along for the ride. And hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss a single thing happening with this Toronto Raptors day, even on Canada Day. Happy Canada Day to folks, because the Raptors are making moves on July 1st as news came out from Shams Charania that free agent forward/center Sandro Mamukelashvili has agreed to a 2-year, $5.5 million deal with the Toronto Raptors, plus a second-year player option. So this is a new contract, so he has a player option for next year. This is a great value contract for Mamu coming from the San Antonio Spurs, because if you're not familiar with who he is as a basketball player, what impact he can have, he is a very interesting piece. As last season for the San Antonio Spurs, averaged 6 points per game, 3 rebounds. Doesn't play a ton of minutes. I got to add the minutes per game to this graphic, but I've been saying that for a while. It will come. But basically, he shoots 37% from behind the three-point line. You would like that corner three number to go up a bit more, but I asked Josh Goss of Spurs Digest about this, and essentially what news I got is he takes a lot of those above the break threes, shoots them in a high volume. Every single fan of the San Antonio Spurs loves the impact that he just comes out and has on his team. Plays with a ton of effort. While no one would accuse him of being the most elite defender by any stretch of the imagination in the NBA, he tries really hard. He brings a lot of the effort and gives a really solid value, like 10 to 15 minutes per night. He spaces the floor. He'll be able to knock down some shots and can come out and have just some really exciting moments for your team. As basically last season, he had one game where he set an NBA record with 34 points in 19 minutes versus the New York Knicks. Went absolutely crazy for that Spurs team. And Mamu's a guy that fits exactly what this team is doing, especially in regards to this bench unit that Masai Ujiri. Not Masai Ujiri anymore because he's not president of basketball operations, but Bobby Webster has been constructing out there on the bench for this team. As if we take a look at the actual roster, what this team is looking like, of course, as currently constructed, barring no other trades, moves, or whatever, the Raptors do have IQ, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scottie Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl out there in the starting lineup for this team. And while there's certainly some shooting off the bench of the Toronto Raptors in Gradey Dick, Jacoby Walter, Jamison Battle, 3 guys that can really knock down the three-point shot, and Ochai Agbaji, who's definitely improved in that areas, especially from the corners. Also, on top of it, you have, who are not listed here right now, but Jonathan Mobo, Jamal Shead, and recently drafted rookies. You have CMB, Colin Murray Boyles, as well as Elijah Martin. So Elijah Martin can knock down the 3 balls. Well, AJ Lawson will talk about how this signing impacts his potential roster spot, but basically, the Toronto Raptors have a good mix now off the bench in terms of big man that can shoot, big man that can't, in terms of after you lose Chris Boucher there now at this point, you have guys that can play the forward spot that can knock down some threes in terms of Mamu coming in as well as Jamison Battle. But you also have those just elite hounding defenders that are going to be super aggressive and into it on this team with CMB, with Jonathan Mobo, right, with all these dudes. And Mamukelashvili is a guy that can actually play that 5 position, can actually play that center role. Like, he's a player that's a natural 5. He can switch the floor just given his floor spacing abilities, and is just at the value of $2 million per year annually, given the Raptors' cap constraints. This is exactly the type of player that you want into the mix. And frankly, our bench unit, our starting unit, is really well balanced here now in terms of moving forward for this team, because Right now, Bobby Webster has made it a point of emphasis this offseason to bring in these elite defenders, but sometimes in Toronto Raptors past, that would come at the sacrifice of guys that can knock down the three-ball space the floor. But when you have a team with Scottie Barnes, when you have a team with RJ Barrett on it, when you have a team with Brandon Ingram on it, who does most of his work, maybe not slashing, but in that mid-range area, you need, on top of it, guys that can space the floor. And Mamu is a guy that hustles on defense. He's not going to be a complete negative on that end of the floor, but also provides that floor spacing. And for a backup big man at $2 million per year, that is exactly what you're looking for, and he will get legitimate run on this team. I know there's been some hope that Oler Shamshay will be a guy that's actually getting minutes, actually getting opportunities over the course of the season, but that does not seem like it's going to be the case, as Bobby Webster essentially addressed how to Doug Smith in a recent report, I don't have the quote pulled up directly, that, hey, yes, Oler Shamshay is coming along exactly as expected, and that means not this season. They signed him for a 2-year, two-way contract for this specific reason. So he has multiple years of getting the feel of the NBA underneath his belt, getting used to the schemes, and channeling all of that elite raw potential, all of that athleticism, that size, those long arms, everything in a frame, right into the mix. So right now, you have Mamu, who could be a long-term piece. He's a fan favorite. People absolutely love the guy in terms of staying with the Toronto Raptors. That could be a destination. That could be an option. That could be a direction for him moving forward. Or you have a guy that can man that backup center position just for a stretch of time, just for, a few games here or there. And then, once Shamshay is ready to go, probably not this season, but next year or at some point this season, Oler Shamshay can come into the mix and be that predominant backup five. So, and of course, Jakob Poeltl being the main piece to really look at moving forward. So, that's what I project to be the direction, the development of everything that's going on here now at this point. In terms of more moves coming for the Toronto Raptors, I think the other move that's going to be set up now at this point is a Jakob Poeltl extension. You didn't make any other big splashes for big signings out there at the center position. You didn't go DeAndre Ayton, which might lead to some competitive opportunities for the starting spot if Ayton comes to this team. As Michael Grange's reported, as Doug Smith's reported, as Josh Bloomberg's reported, an extension is expected to be incoming for Jakob Poeltl. Now, with the price that Miles Turner just went for after a deep playoff run, being effective out there on that team, that could affect the actual price in terms of what Jakob Poeltl is going to be able to get out there on the open market, because we see the Raptors have some loaded contracts with Scottie Barnes making, just this upcoming season alone, right? Like 38, Brandon Ingram around that number as well. You have Immanuel Quickley at 32, you have RJ Barrett at 27, you have Jakob Poeltl at 19, but of course an extension's kind of incoming. And then in the future, you do have to take into consideration what money that's going to be earned from your Ochai Abaji's, your Gradey Dicks, your Jacoby Walters and stuff. Again, it's not imminent, but all things that have to be factored in when you're taking a look at contract extensions. So the deal has not been signed, and probably the market dumbing down a little bit compared to where it was even last summer gives an indication that maybe the Raptors are trying to negotiate a little bit of a better price point for Jakob Poeltl, so we don't end up being really, really tough pressed against the cap moving forward in the future. But we'll see how things play out. Lots of trades happen over the course of this offseason, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors do end up making more moves. But I think this is a great signing. Shout out to Sandro. This is going to be an exciting pick. Even if he's not the most crazy impact player, he'll space the floor. He'll have an impact and definitely will, grow attached. The fan base will definitely grow attached to this guy. But let me know what you guys think. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.